Statue Hunter 75 here with Sideshow Collectibles Predators, the Falconer Maquette, or Falconer Maquette. I've been on like a huge Predator kick lately. Since I recently pre-ordered the Wolf Predator from Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. That's the Sideshow's legendary scale figure. I've been really excited, waiting for that, anticipating for that, and for that pre-order to be available. I know it was very expensive, but I pulled the trigger and flex paid it. So ever since then, I've been really excited with the whole Predator franchise. I've always been a fan of it since the very first Schwarzenegger movie when my dad took me to it forever ago when I was a little kid. So I've just always liked the Predator franchise. People have made quite a few comments to me, how come you don't have any Predator statues or anything like that, or no horror movie statues. So I when I pulled the trigger with the Wolf Predator, and then recently I got the NECA quarter scale action figure of the original Predator with the open mouth. I already did a review on that too. I have him there right now for size comparison for you. We'll get into that in just a minute, but just to show you, I've been getting on a little bit of a Predator tear here, buying a lot of Predators products. But as we can see, this is from Sideshow Collectibles. It is number 243 of 750. It's the regular edition. And then we see it's from 20th Century Fox, who made the movie. And KNBFFX Group Incorporated is another one of the collaborators that helped make this statue. And as you can see, Predators, the Falconer Maquette. Then it gives you a quick little write-up here. I don't know if I can even get this, it's so dark, but maybe at home if you pause it you'll be able to see it and read it. And then you see on the box, I like how they do this with the artwork going from one side of the box to the other. This is the back of the box. You see the actual statue of the Falconer Predator. And the side of the box and the front of the box is really cool. I love how it's like almost a life-size picture of the mask or the head of the Falconer Predator. This movie, The Predators, I loved it a lot. It was by Robert Rodriguez directed it. It was the most recent Predator movie, and it had 3 new Predator characters. The Berserker Predator, or Mr. Black, who was like the biggest, baddest, craziest one. He had like the jawbone on his mask and black mask and everything, and he's probably one of the most badass Predators out there now out of all the characters. But had this guy, the Falconer, whose mask is also really cool. He had like a kind of like a falcon that went and surveilled the territory and the people that were hunting. And then there was also the Tracker Predator with the dogs and the tusks on the lower part of his mask. Maybe I'll get those two to match this guy on display. We'll see. I got this at a great deal on eBay. Basically got it for half the price of what it's worth. So I was very excited. Here he is. As you can see, he's next to the quarter scale figure is behind him, and this quarter scale figure is crouching. So he's a pretty good size. This maquette is about 1/5 scale. It's magnet on the head. I gotta watch those dreadlocks. It came perfect condition, no breakage or anything. And there's the magnet at the bottom of the head. You can see his jaw. And I love the mask. The mask is really cool. And the eyes are kind of like glass or plastic, which is pretty cool how they did that. The aiming system or targeting system that he has on his mask does not light up, unfortunately. But, that would have probably made the statue a heck of a lot more expensive. But as we can see the back of his dreadlocks here, it's parted so that you kind of put it in, over the shoulders of the statue, and there's, kind of like you can kind of see his head under the mask, which is pretty cool. They did not do a switch out for this one. I'm going to carefully put his head back on right now without breaking these dreadlocks. They did not do a switch out for him with a maskless switch out. The exclusive of this is the regular, like I said, number 243 of 750, but the exclusive of this statue did not have a maskless portrait, switch out portrait. It had a print, so who cares? And the print was freaking terrible. The other magnet here is this guy on the arm. I don't know if you can see the magnet in there. Yeah, you can. And there's his claws and his long kind of like sword here. These guys, most of them had the single blade instead of the dual blade like the classic Predator. So they had a single blade. There was a pretty cool scene in the movie where he fought the Yakuza guy in a sword fight. And it's a pretty strong magnet. And you can see the detail on the paint job is pretty cool. And the base is also nice. Could have been a little bit more detailed. We see some of his armor that fell off here, a rib cage, some bones, some swamp-like, terrain, and a whole pile of skulls that he's collected because they hunt humans and other various aliens and animals. These are like alien skulls and human skulls, and that skull could have looked a little bit better. It's not that bad. It's pretty cool, and the detail on him is really good. We see his shoulder blaster isn't on. It must have probably fallen off with the armor that he shedded. Then we have like a tree stump under him. I guess the detail is pretty good on this. Some people complained about the painting on the tracker version of that statue, Maquette. And then the base is pretty cool. It's got like some like Predator hieroglyphics or whatever. But that's it. In a nutshell, it's a pretty cool statue. I'm very happy with it. I got a sweet deal. And hopefully I'll get the other two to match them someday to display with them. But I'll give you one last spin around of the Sideshow Collectibles, Predators, the Falconer, Maquette from the Predators movie from 20th Century Fox. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Alright guys, have a good night.